So, at the time of recording, Money in the Bank is 4 weeks away. It's exactly 28 days from now. Now, I love Money in the Bank. Last year's show was I think was brilliant. It had two great Money in the Bank ladder matches. Jax Rousey was really good as well. And yes, I think Styles Nakamura in their last man standing match tore the house down. I mean, sure, there was Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal, but let's not talk about that. Now, as the pay-per-view approaches, thoughts are inevitably going to turn to who's going to be in the Money in the Bank ladder matches. So in this video, I thought I'd have a go predicting who those people are going to be. For both of these ladder matches, I'm going to assume that there are going to be 8 participants, 4 from Raw and 4 from SmackDown, just like last year. And we're going to start with the women. Picking 4 women from Raw is a little harder than it would have been a week ago, considering that their roster was gutted in the Superstar Shakeup. And on top of that, Lacey Evans is probably going to be challenging Becky Lynch, so that doesn't leave me a lot of women to choose from. But I think Natalya will be in it. I think she'll kind of be pushed as someone a bit more prominent because she's got the space in the roster to do that. I'm also going to go with Alexa Bliss, which I think is kind of a risky shout because no one's really sure what her status is in terms of injury. Like, she's sort of wrestling, but she's also hosting her Moment of Bliss a lot. But I personally think that she'll be good to go, and the company will want to stick her in this big match. I'm also going to guess Ruby Riott, which is kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel in terms of Raw women, which is a harsh thing to say about someone as talented as Ruby, but she's been booked terribly. But I think, like Lana last year, she'll be put in there to fill out the numbers. And I think they'll also go for Naomi because they'll want some athletic stuff in the match. As for SmackDown, well, first one is obviously Charlotte because, they put Charlotte in everything. Ember Moon's another good shout because she's another athletic one, and I think WWE will really want to do something with her on SmackDown considering how little she did on Raw. Bayley is another one from SmackDown. Like Ember, she'll want to do different things, better things than she did on Raw, and I also think she's too big a name to leave out. And finally, Carmella. Now, I nearly went for Liv Morgan on this one because I heard somewhere that they're going to want to do something big with Liv Morgan. She's got an attitude, apparently, that they like. But considering how little Liv Morgan has done, I'm going to err on the side of caution and say Carmella. So to recap, your 8 participants will be Natalya, Alexa Bliss, Ruby Riott, Naomi, Charlotte Flair, Ember Moon, Bayley, and Carmella. And now for the men, which I think is a little harder to predict, actually a lot harder given how much more men there are than women on the roster. And also because it's quite difficult at this point to judge who's going to be in the world title matches. I think Drew is going to be challenging Seth, whereas Kofi is a little bit more up in the air. I have a feeling Kevin Owens, but I'm not 100% sure. So it's kind of a stab in the dark this, but here are my predictions for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. So we're starting with Raw, and first, I'm going to go for AJ Styles. He seems like a fairly obvious pick to add some star power to the match. And also, he'll turn in a great performance like he always does. Andrade, I think, is another good shout. In sort of a similar way to Bayley and Ember, I think he's going to make a really good splash in his new home. I actually think he's one of the favorites to win because I really want to see him come out and then Zelina Vega come after him carrying the case. I just realised actually I forgot to think about Zelina as an entrant for the women's match, but I actually think she'd be better suited here to act as a heel manager thing to help Andrade win, like James Ellsworth, but better and not so stupid. Next is Rey Mysterio, who can add some high-flying stuff for the match, and can you imagine spots between Rey and Andrade when there are ladders all around the place? It's going to be brilliant. And also Baron Corbin, just to ruin everyone's time. Now for SmackDown, and this has actually been kind of tough, because I originally had Roman and Elias in there, but I actually think they're going to have their own singles match on the show, so that's them out. And also, a lot of really good talent on SmackDown are stuck in tag teams, like Rusev and Nakamura, and Owens and The New Day, so it's been tricky this, but I think a good shout for the start of it is Mustafa Ali, who can, like Ray, do some flippy stuff and pop the crowd big. For that reason, I'm also going to put Finn Balor in there. I know he's the Intercontinental Champion. That's risky, actually, but I think I can't really see a feud for him for the title going into the pay-per-view, so I'm going to put him in there as well. I'm also going to go for Cesaro, and I know that kind of flies in the face of what I said earlier about tag team stuff, but apparently Sheamus is out with a concussion at the moment, so he'll kind of have nothing to do, so he's good to go in. And speaking of guys who can pop the crowd, can you imagine what Cesaro can do in a Money in the Bank match? Actually, we've already seen it in 2016, but yeah, he'll find other ways to just amaze us all. My final pick is a wild card. I'm going to go for Buddy Murphy. I think WWE will want to give him something to sink his teeth into, especially coming from 205 Live, which most people don't watch, so they might not know who he is. So he's going to get an impressive showing here, just to establish himself on the main roster. So in summary, my predictions for the men's Money in the Bank match are Andrade, AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio, Baron Corbin, Mustafa Ali, Finn Balor, Cesaro, and Buddy Murphy. So those are the people that I think will be in this year's Money in the Bank ladder matches. I look forward to getting these hilariously wrong and looking back on this video in 4 weeks and laughing. I hope you laugh with me. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give us a like, maybe subscribe. We're this close to our first major milestone of 10 subscribers. Small goals. We're going for small goals here on the channel. So thanks for watching.